Great morning, everybody. Grand Rising at 6:56. This is the warm-up. We're going to get this party started in about 4 minutes. It's a great time to go get your coffee, get your tea. I'm drinking water. I am good. Y'all, I'm on a new thing, and I'm feeling like it's working, Mom. Can't wait to see you this weekend. This weekend is my dad's birthday. Well, we're going to celebrate his birthday. Her actual birthday is next week. Talked to him yesterday. He is so... Krista, he's so excited. He don't know what to do with his flamingo self. Hey, son, I'm so glad y'all coming up. My mother knows that's exactly how he sounds. I appreciate y'all for coming on up. Hey, Sky, Grand Rising. I gave you a follow yesterday, Sky, so that's why you're up in the followed by the speakers. John told me, I think it was John that invited you to the room, and you've been consistent. I see your party hat fell off, so you're no longer new to Clubhouse, but we'll give you a shout out. Hey, let's go. Robert is in the building, Grand Rising. Hey, Sharon. Shout out to Decatur, where it is greater. Let's go. Uncle Ernie is in the building, Grand Rising. Dr. James, the mad scientist, is in the building. Shout out to the KBCN community. Hey, Chris, been a while. I see you've been popping up here lately. We got to jump on another call. I know you had been working on some things. I was crazy busy. This would be a good time for us to kind of circle the wagon. So let's jump on the call. Hey, Anisha, what's up? Hey, let's go. If you're saying thanks be unto God for the victory today, put me in the chat. Let's go. Hey, Kat, Grand Rising. Kiki just pulled up. I'll say hey to Kiki this morning. Good to have her in the building. Let's go. It's a Thankful Thursday, guys. 6:58. Come on, let's get it. I got that. Hey, do me a favor, pop in the chat. City, state, city, country that you're viewing from. What's the temperature in your neck of the woods? Y'all, I saw Blacklist the other day, one of the episodes, and Al Roker was on it. I didn't know that he was on Blacklist, and it was kind of funny. They went in tongue in cheek, and it was playing with, his Al Roker character. So your boy was like, yeah, we're going to check in some about your neck of the woods. I was like, stop playing. Al did a great job, too. It's 49 degrees and cloudy with a high of 75 in Glen Burnie, Maryland this morning. Oh, my goodness. Robert, we are loving to hate you this morning, sir. 60 degrees in Jacksonville, Florida. Hey, what is the temperature in Queens, Kiki? I know it's got to be chilly. It's raining where Anisha is. What's the temperature? What city are you in, Anisha? Let's go. Great morning, everybody. Y'all saying, Coach asking me all these questions. Are you kidding me? Sounds like he had a cold shower to me. It's the lingering effect. Hey, let's go. Y'all invite somebody to the room. We're going to get this party started in about 30 seconds. Elaine just pulled up. Grand Rising, Elaine. Let's go. Rocky is in the building. It's a Tech Thursday, y'all. We get ready to get this party started. Y'all stand by. We're going to go around the room, check in on everybody, find out how the evening went. Get yourself settled. Y'all got your coffee? You got your tea? Let's go. Hey. Let's go. Shout out to my Delaware peeps. I see you, Anisha. Let's go. I got no reason to fear. Hey. I got Jesus on my. I got that. I ain't played this one in a minute. This young got me hyped. Barbara just pulled up, the super producer, guys. We get ready to get this party started. Grand Rising, everybody. Hey, that's enough of the party starting. Y'all know y'all can't threaten me with a good time. Grand Rising, Christine, great morning. How was your evening?
Good morning. Good morning, morning show. I had a great evening last night. I had a great day yesterday. Yeah, I had a great day. Stretch Lab again 3 times.
Did you? I
Yes.
went yesterday. I went
Yeah,
yesterday too.
mine was amazing. There's been
Did you
some
do the 30-minute or the 50-minute, Christine?
I do the 30-minute.
Okay.
I do the 50-minute in the beginning, but I did the
Yeah.
30-minute. But yeah. But yeah, there's because of who I am and what I do, the 30 minutes is enough.
It was all you needed.
Yeah, but there's also been movement. Like I'm progressing quickly, so they were like, "Oh yeah, you make this easy," being a
Yeah.
dancer and all. So some specific things. So I was excited about that and back in the studio and costumes everywhere. Y'all stay tuned to my Facebook and my IG because yeah, it's a whole moment now. The entire costume room is filled with costumes. So and more to come. So but I'm excited. I'm excited.
I love it. So how many people total will y'all have on the stage for y'all's annual productions, Christine?
This year we got about 110.
Ooh,
Yeah, from
wow.
2 years old, they're still in pull-ups, all the way to all the way till I think our oldest may be about 50-ish this year.
Wow.
Yeah, so
That
we're
is going to be
excited.
fire.
We're excited. And I said still in pull-ups because when they were trying on costumes, how we want the parents to disclose things to us and they don't disclose them until the costume time comes and we're trying to fit them and we're like, oh, what's this
Wait a
extra
minute. A
stuff
little
going
extra
on?
padding going on here.
Yeah, a little extra padding. And it wasn't for them. So if they fall, they don't hurt themselves. It was for the
Yeah.
leakage.
Right. If they fall, they will hurt themselves.
No, but I'm excited. Yep. So
I
great
love it.
day yesterday.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, congratulations. I'm glad we're marching down. I'm excited. We're going to actually physically be in the building this year. So that's going to be fun. June 24th. Do me a favor, put all the deets in the chat. If y'all haven't gotten your tickets this year, I know it's going to be virtual. It's going to be an exciting thing. Christine they always have like some really bomb productions. The themes, if you know anything about Christine, it's going to be extra. So I'm excited to be able to pull up, and I know the KBC and family is going to be in the building. We're going to be broadcasting it live. It's going to be a whole thing. So yeah, I'm excited. Jennifer J, the Premier VA, is in the building. Hair still ironed. I love it. It is fire this morning. I call it iron. I know I don't call it that, but how was your evening, Jen?
My evening was good. Good morning show. My evening was good. I did a presentation on the importance of systems for a event planning business community. They are event planners and event venue owners. So we went into the independent systems that they need and how to set them up and the importance of systems and analyzing them for your business and all of that. So it was about 2 hours last night. You guys know I was struggling, but it was good because I was getting question after question after question. And as an introvert, we thrive off of that. Like I thrived off of that. Like, yes, keep the questions coming. So it was really good.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, y'all are good that way. I learned that about my introverted wife. Like, if you want to know what an introvert thinks, ask them. Don't wait for them to just tell you. So, what are you thinking? Oh, I was, and didn't be prepared to sit for a minute. Because once you start, it's like a sponge. It's full of water. Once you start pressing that thing, it's gonna spill all over you. No, congratulations, Jen. I'm excited that you were in your element. Rocky is in the building. Grand Rising, Rocky. It's Tech Thursday. What you got cooking for us over there, Rock?
I don't know. I don't know.
She says she don't know yet. Rocky, I know you know.
What?
I know you working on something. But okay. How was your evening?
I got a little something. My evening was good. My day was messed up. I got hit in the face with another flying object by a student. So, yeah, there's that. And then I came home. I went and had some me time. I got my nails done, got my eyebrows waxed, relaxed a little bit, and then I went on a little date with my boo thing. And then I came home and chilled.
So let me ask you a question. Going back to the flying objects, did you see who did it? Was it something that you could track?
Oh yeah. He got 2 weeks suspension.
Okay. Let me find out you're gonna start wearing a helmet to work.
You know, it's Coach, I didn't come to school for this. Like, this is a whole nother. I'm like teacher slash security guard slash victim every day. Like, it's crazy.
Christine is shaking her head on TV like in affirmation. No, it's real. I don't know what's going on in our schools these days. It ain't just
And that's
you.
why. And Coach, I'm just gonna say this because I mean, no kid deserves to get beat up or anything like that. But I understand what happens in these videos with the teachers because we literally get tormented all day long by these kids. And then when teachers snap, they snap. I mean, I'm not condoning it in any way possible, but when you see teachers going off, that's only one side of the story that you can see.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. When I was driving a school bus, Christine, I don't know if you ever experienced this, but there would be times where bus drivers would get so frustrated that they would just park the bus. And I've heard and seen where bus drivers just left the bus, like parked it somewhere, walked off the bus and kept it moving because they couldn't do it no more. They could not do it. And that kind of stuff, it could get you locked up, but you ain't even thinking like that in the moment because we praying for you, girl, praying that it gets better. Praying it gets better. John Schultz is in the building. Grand Rising, sir. How are you, my friend?
Grand Rising. Good morning show. I'm doing well. Nice evening. Good. Had a good evening. Good conversations. And my daughter went to her first concert last night, so it was pretty good. I didn't go.
I saw the pictures, John. Stacy looked like she was struggling.
Boy.
Look, Jordan was over there grinning, and your wife was like, I don't know about this. Like, where my earmuffs?
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Teenagers and their concerts. John, how old was you when you went to your first concert? And did your mom go with you?
I was 12 or 13, and no, my mom didn't go with me. It was our neighborhood friends. My mom did the drop off, but she didn't go with me. And my first concert was, I keep talking about it, so I'm not going to do it, was the Michael Jackson Victory Tour.
That's right. 12 years old, Michael Jackson Victory Tour. At this point, you could have just died and gone to heaven, I guess, in terms of like the
pretty close.
Like it doesn't get much better
than that. Pretty close.
He said pretty close.
Pretty close.
I'm gonna let you get yourself together, brother. I'm glad
you're on the show. I'm clicking it. Oh, yeah. Thanks for having me.
Love it, man.
Yes, sir.
Barbara is in the building, the super producer. Hey, Miss Barbara, how was your evening? I'm sure it was jam-packed.
Good morning, morning show. First, I want to know, Rocky, do you have hazard insurance? That's all I need to know.
Part.
Because that is crazy. What'd you say, Rocky?
I said that's a thing. You said hazard insurance or
hazard insurance.
Or getting hazard pay, one of the two.
No,
but my evening was great. I had a really good evening. Of course, the day was jam-packed. I love implementing new ideas and systems for the clients I'm working with. So that's always a plus for me and for the client. And my evening was really relaxing, great conversations, just catching up on some things, talking to my mom, just a whole great evening. So, yeah.
I love it. Now, your mom is in Tennessee?
No, she's in Mississippi.
Mississippi. Okay. I knew it was one of them. Either I don't know why I was thinking Memphis. No, it was Mississippi. How's she doing, Barbara? Because your mother, is she in her 90s yet?
She's 90. My mom is doing amazing. My mom has always been one that's been very active, and she's traveled, and so she's always kept the family on our toes and kept us busy and stuff. So she is doing amazing. She's still ready to travel. We have to slow her down a little bit because of her blood pressure and some other things she's got going on, but she is doing amazing. She's being obedient now in what she should eat and what she shouldn't eat. So that's helpful.
Oh boy. You were giving Christine life over here. She is grinning, shaking her head, talking about the obedient part.
Oh my gosh, that's the whole thing. That's a whole thing.
Listen, that's the stuff that stresses Cherie out. She's not on right now. But Cherie be over here rocking back and forth. I said, what's going on, baby? My parents, they're not feeding them well. Like, babe, What is going on with these grown folks who won't eat right? Listen.
My mom says, well, I wasn't hungry. And I'm like, okay, but you still have to
You
eat.
still have to eat, Mom. Yeah, but and look, and Christine's problem is the other way around. I was hungry for the wrong things, and Dad, you can't eat that, sir. And they like, listen, I'm on my way out of here. I'm gonna eat when I'm gonna eat. We was at dinner the other night, Christine. My father-in-law, listen, when we got back in town from Atlanta, it was Cherie's birthday the actual day. And we went out to eat. And we went to Carrabba's. And my father-in-law ordered the pork chops, right? And I had to remind him, I said, Dad, remember the last time we were here? The answer really is no. But anyway, you didn't like the pork chops. I didn't. I said, no, man, you didn't like them. Okay. I think I want some pork chops. I said, Dad, remember they had to buy one, get one, like at the next meal at $10, and you ordered it, and then while eating the one you had, you was like, you were sorry you were taking this on. I said, now he's got a little dementia going on, but this was, I could tell this was some selective stuff going on. This wasn't that, Christine. He was like, oh, well, how did they serve it? I said, well, you can get it fried or grilled. He said, well, what did I get last time? I said, I think you may have got the fried. He said, I'm gonna try the grill this time. He was gonna get them pork chops. That was where he was going. At this point, Jennifer, I had to just say, you know what? That ain't my business. Or as Tabitha Brown would say, that ain't my business. Lord Jesus. Well, we're going to get it going, y'all.
Oh, turn it up for sound.
Taking care of our parents. It's a whole thing. I'm telling you right now, Jen and Christine looking at me like, Coach, you ain't said nothing but a word. It's 7:13, 13 minutes after 7 o'clock. If you're just pulling up, welcome to the morning show. It's real lessons in life and business. Want to say a huge thank you to our sponsor this week. AARP Atlanta is more than just an organization that provides discount and supports individuals over the age of 55. Talking about our parents and us. But they also provide special discounts to military veterans, actually, and active duty members, as well as provide valuable information that supports the veterans no matter their age. AARP Atlanta is also the title sponsor for Bootstrap and Redefine. Yeah, that event goes down in the Atlanta Metro, October the 13th, 14th this year. If you haven't gotten your tickets, make sure you do that. But to learn more about AARP and how they support active duty military and veterans, go to the link that's at the top of the room in Clubhouse. Also, you can check out the link that's scrolling at the bottom of your screen on the platform that you're viewing us on. Grand Rising, everybody. We're going to do a quick roll call starting from the bottom all the way to the top. Great morning, Monica. Good to have you in the building this morning. Hey, Becky, what it do? Welcome to the morning show, Real Lessons in Life and Business. Appreciate you being here today. Hey, Lakita. Excursions is in the building. Good to see you. Hey, Nick at Night. I'm so sorry we didn't get a chance to connect with you. But guess what? Hey, Nick, just real quick tip. We're going to be back in Atlanta in June. I'm gonna text you the dates. We'll be there for a week, and then after that speaking engagement that I have at the end of that week, the next day we out. Panama bound forever. Well, we'll be back and forth to visit, but that'll be our residence from that point on. And I'm not joking. Sierra's great morning, Grand Rising. Good to have you in the building. Jill, it's so good to see you. Thanks for pulling up. Good to see you. Hey, Dr. Pam. Great morning. Rosalind's in the building. Shout out to our MMC alum. Sharon is in the building. Grand Rising, Sharon. Elaine, good to see you. Kiki is in the building, coming to us live from Queens. Hey, NYC is in the building. Anisha, shout out to my Delaware folks. Chris is in the building. Grand Rising, Chris, good to have you. Uncle Ernie is here. Dr. James is here. Robert, Sky, and Mama Pat is in the building. Let's go. So all week long, guys, we have been talking about this idea about the dynamics and characteristics of your inner circle. We're going to pick up the conversation again today. And this is going to be a little bit of an interesting one. And I really want to hear from some of you guys. I know over the years for me, and just so that y'all know, if you've never read the book, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell, I'm going to encourage you to get it. Every leader on the planet should read it. Because one of the things that I love about how John teaches, it's just so practical. And he takes all of the experiences that he's had, not only in the pastoring community or church community, or his life of 25 years of pastoring, but then also the business people that he's had the opportunity to work with around the world over these last 30 plus years after pastoring. He put in the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership a chock full of wisdom. I mean, so much stuff. But one of those laws is law number 11. It's called the law of the inner circle. And it states that a leader, basically, it sums up this way: a leader's potential is determined by those closest to him or to her. And considering, this climate where we are in our world, y'all, where a lot of people are on this whole solo thing. We've even termed it solopreneur. It denotes that it's an entrepreneur without a team. And I am not hating on that. Trust me when I tell you, when you start out in business, a lot of times it's just you, yourself, and you. And nobody sees the vision. Nobody wants to get on board. It's really difficult. You don't have the resources to pay people. You're not quite sure what you're doing. So you're kind of fumbling with it. But it does come a time where if you get traction and you begin to grow, then you're going to need a team to help support you and to help navigate you to the next level. There's one thing when your organization needs a team. It's another thing for you, yourself, personally, to need a team. I need a group of people around me that can help nurture me and grow me to the next level. Now, that doesn't always mean that I pay them. That many times are mentors and people who I've deemed and tapped to be in my inner circle. Harmony in your inner circle will manifest as harmony in your leadership. There's nothing like having a person who can guide you and show you, hey, this is what this looks like. Maxwell writes in his book that no leader starts off with a strong inner circle. It's something that develops over time. But when you take stock of the people closest to you and ask yourself some tough questions about what value they add to your life and your business, what you'll begin to discover is that they not only will have influences on you, but they also start having influences on your actual organization. That's what we're going to talk about today. I want to talk to you guys about real lessons in life and business around your inner circle's strategic position in your organization. Now, guys, I want y'all to get this from this perspective. This person doesn't necessarily work for your organization, but they're positioned in your organization in a way where they can speak life into your organization. How have you aligned yourself with people in your inner circle so that that's the case? Or what does that look like? For those of you guys who are in the audience, we're going to start there. We certainly want to hear from you. If you are in a place that you can share that, if you're in a place where you can raise your hand and come to the stage and talk about it, I believe we'll have some time today to open up the stage and allow other folks to get on, because I really want to hear what this perspective looks like. So the question simply is this: when it comes to lessons that you've learned, what does that look like around your inner circle's strategic position in your organization? Come on, talk to me, clip it up. If you are on stage and you want to chime in on this one, let me know. Kim Green just pulled up. Hey, Kim, good to see you. Come on, Christine.
So I was trying to figure out which angle I wanted to come at this. So I'll give both angles. And so I do have a person that does not work for me, that is not actively involved in the studio, but they are strategic in their perspective on how the business is running. And they offer a very unbiased opinion, if you will. And it's refreshing. Sometimes to me, I don't understand their perspective and it doesn't always make sense. So I don't discount it, but it causes me to pause in certain areas before I move forward. And I think that's important. I always like that. Why this person in my life? because sometimes I'm like, can you just go with it? Doesn't my idea or my thought process make sense to me or make sense to you rather? But I understand why they're coming at me like that. And it's not all the time, but it is important that I do have people in my inner circle or my team that can see outside of the forest, that can see the different perspective. And that is why I keep the person close to me because of their perspective. It's just different. It has nothing to do with dance, but it has to do with business. And that's the important part about it. However, I am looking for other people like that because I don't want to be, like you say, the smartest person in the room. But I also want to get other viewpoints because I want to be able to um, broaden where we're going and broaden how we get there. And that's the part that I wanted to hit on is broaden how we get to the next place. And because the book that I'm reading, how I got there is not how I got here is not how I'm going to get there. I know I'm not saying the title correctly, but you know the book and I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah, what
Yeah,
got you here
yeah,
won't get you there.
that part. And so I have to find other people who can help me broaden my perspective and see it in a different way because of my turtle mindset, my turtle temperament and how I move. I do see things that one way because they're logical to me. So I'll yield there.
Ooh, Christine, that's good. I'm going to pull out some principles out of that book. That book changed my life years ago. And the book that you're talking about it really deals with a leader who has been successful at a thing. I think one of the biggest challenges for many leaders as we grow, particularly business owners, is that you can argue that you've been successful in a specific area. So then the question begs, why would I do anything different? And that's a legitimate question, by the way. Like if you've been successful in something and it's gotten you traction, like it's hard to argue that it's not going to continue to work for you. What changes that dynamic, and I need y'all to hear this clearly, has nothing to do with you or what you did. It has everything to do with what's coming. And that's the part where you need to reorganize or need to rethink your approach as you go. And it's always super dope to have someone in your inner circle. I call them forecasters. They're almost prophets in one sense. They can help you think down the road and push on your perspective in ways that will stretch you. And quite frankly, it'll make you pause sometimes, like you said, Christine, because you're like, but I'm pretty successful at this thing. I had a client one time, listen to me very carefully, who had did $1.3 million the year prior to meeting me. And when they hired me, I'm thinking to myself, Jesus, why? And I said to him, I never will forget, I was on the golf course. And I said to them, they called me, I said, why would you need me to coach you? I've not done 1.3. And this person said something I'll never forget, because your perspective is going to help me get to 1.5 this quarter. I've listened to you. I've heard you. You think in ways I don't think. I've been successful getting here, but I believe that you're going to be the one that's going to get me through the next window this quarter. I was like, oh, snap. No pressure. But it was just, so does that make sense, guys? So in that regard, it it wasn't that she wasn't successful. It's just that's how it worked. Come on, Jen. You were clipping it up, I think. Come on.
I wasn't, but I was about to, so you foresaw that. Definitely. Oh, this is so good. And you and Christine just tied the whole concept together, because a lot of times we think that someone has to pay or be paid by the business to be able to project foresight into or take a look at it and say, listen, I understand this is where, just like Christine said, you've done all of these things to get to where you are now. But if you make these adjustments or you do these things, it will move the trajectory further and get you to your goal. So I remember talking with one of my co-members in the CEO program I'm in, and he was like, man, I've gotten to here And now I can't break through the ceiling. I wish I had met you before I spent all this money on all this other stuff that I didn't need to help me break through the ceiling. And our little mastermind sessions are just us talking to each other about what's going on in our business, what's the goals, and we give insight and foresight into what needs to be changed, because a lot of times when you're in it, you can't see it. But someone from the outside looking in can say, listen, these are the things that I foresee you should kind of make a change or make an adjustment with. And again, it's not malicious. So we have a culture of people not trusting. This is definitely going to be someone who you trust. And just like you said, Coach, I haven't done that. That doesn't mean that you can't get me to where I need to go, because I need you, just like Christine said. For turtles, we are black and white and we operate in facts. And so anything outside the purview of those facts, we need someone else to come in and say, listen, I need you to do this. John experienced that with me. And he probably was thinking like, this is common sense. No, it's not, because when you tell me one thing, that's that one thing that I'm making sure that I do. Because remember, we follow rules and processes. So if you say, go down here and it's an obstacle in the way, we're like, oh, but you said go down here. So how do I mitigate that obstacle? I yield my mic.
Anybody else on stage want to chime in on that? But yeah, Christine, at some point, we're going to switch gears. I'm going to unpack some truths in that book, What Got You Here Won't Get You There, because oftentimes, and I'll say this, and this is one of the reasons why your inner circle is critical to you. And I learned this even in the game of golf. Even amid your success, you pick up bad habits that will not fly at the next level. And you don't know that until you get to the next level. I'm going to say it again. You've been successful in a thing. What you don't know is you've accrued a series of bad habits. It has caused you to win because in the beginning, you needed to get out of the mud. You needed to survive. You needed to be able to pay the bills, pay your staff. You needed to be able to keep, quote, the doors open. And so you did what you had to do. And I'm telling you, yeah, you punched through. It made you somewhat successful. But now that you're here, you've grown, you started it, now you're at the growth stage. If you're going to get to the scaling stage, you're going to have to lose some bad habits. One of those habits is control. Entrepreneurs have a bad habit of developing this infectious connection with being in control. And it will not serve you at the next level. Not if you're really trying to scale and get out of your own way. This is what I do every day, all day, in the clients that I work with. My specialty is helping you get out of your own way, because you will become your own bottleneck. And this is why you need people to influence you, for me, it's people who are in my inner circle that have the clout, if you will, the authority, if you will, to speak truth into my blind spots. And I'm telling you right now, y'all, it is critical. Come on, Christine, you was clipping it up.
Yeah, because I realize, and this is where my challenge is, I need a risk taker in my inner circle. Now
That part.
that is dangerous for a turtle to say, but not just a risk taker, but a calculated risk taker. And that's what my husband is. He's a calculated risk taker. I am not I'm not the person who goes to the casino, because if there's not a guarantee on my risk, I'm not doing it. That's who I am. But I realize in order to propel my business to the next level, I have to have some type of risk. I have to. But in order for me to do that, I have to have someone in my inner circle, not just a calculated risk taker, but someone who was proven, let me say that, to be a calculated risk taker, where they have the receipts to show it. Not necessarily in my field or in my industry, but in life and in business themselves. because you're talking about my business, my, like you said, my baby, the one I've been controlling, for the last 15 years. So it's definitely a walk for me, coach. And I can honestly say I am not there yet. I'm getting there. And I've got some people who are pushing me, but I'm just not there yet. I'll yield.
No, I get it, John. You are clipping it up like crazy. Come on through, bro.
Yeah, so we talking about, how does that influence your decisions? It's very influential if you see the receipts of the people. So even though Christine is looking for a risk taker within her inner circle, the morning show being part of her inner circle, she gets to see those who take risks, such as myself and other people, how that happens and how it proves itself to be worthy, and also to get advice from. So I think you can glean it, you can see it, and then it's intentionality by getting it. And sometimes it's through a program, sometimes it's by introduction to a new relationship, um, of um, of a person who has like-mindedness and the same area or career choice or industry choice. And so I think it comes by different ways, but it's the openness to let go of that control so that you can learn something new that may actually catapult you to your next phase that you are. Because at the end of the day, solopreneurs and those entrepreneurs have a life, a life. What's that? The shelf life is very short.
Absolutely. No, and that's so true, John. And I think that um, you know, when you are, and I'll go back to something you said, Christine, we all are getting there. Let me just not allow my confidence to dissuade you. Every single day, I am challenged with taking a risk that I am not comfortable with on no level. And I don't want y'all to mistake my confidence for this idea that this is easy, because God knows it ain't. But I think that what helps me is that I have an inner circle of influencers in my life. They don't have to say a word to me. I watch them take risks. I'll give you a quick example. In 2005, we sold our home. And we sold our home. We moved to Atlanta in 2006. And from the net of that sale, we netted $80,000 from the sale of our home. By the time it was all said and done, we had 80 grand in our bank account from the sale of our home. My mindset was very different then than it is now. In my mind, because we were moving to a new city and a new venture, I needed to keep as much of that cash on hand as possible to against, quote, a rainy day. Well, I'm going to tell you a secret. We had rain. It was a monsoon and it wiped out that entire 80K. And then what? See, I didn't have people. I had people in my outer circle that were doing some amazing things in real estate. And they were showing me with their life how they were able to flip certain things and take a little bit, invest it, and make a lot on the back end. But I was super risk adverse at that point. My inability to take risks, calculated ones, caused me to go bankrupt. Now imagine this. You net 80K. You're debt free. But in the span of 2 or 3 years, not only you're in debt, but you're now on the precipice of bankruptcy because of your mindset. Instead of me allowing that outer circle influence into my inner circle and trust them, I went the route of hoarding. I went the route of stacking. I went the route of what I didn't know was what was to come. And I'm telling y'all, it was the worst. And then I got to watch their investments pay off. You want to talk about painful? I watched my friends, several of them, become millionaires in that season. I watched it with my own eyes. And the thing that broke my heart was nothing that they did. It was my failure to execute. And those are some of the lessons that I've learned over the years that has changed the trajectory of how I show up. This idea of inner circle is real, y'all. And when you allow people in your inner circle who will stretch you and who they begin to not only have influence over you, but now they have influence over your entire organization. Here's what y'all don't know. I brought some of those same people into my organization to speak to the folks I lead. I learned my lesson, Christine. I switched gears. I got the message, and I brought them from the outer circle to the inner. And you guys have heard from them. And if I told you their names, you would remember. But you wouldn't know who this person is, because at this particular point, it wasn't about that. It was about the influence they had over me that I wanted to bleed on to you. Because at this particular point, y'all need to catch the wisdom. Let me reset real quick at 7:37, 37 minutes after the 7 o'clock hour. It is a Tech Thursday. Rocky will be up in about 20 minutes to share some things on Tech Thursday and walk us through some things, y'all. But all week long, we've been talking about the dynamics and characteristics of your inner circle. On Monday, we talked about how your inner circle supports your growth as a leader. Taking this from the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership from John Maxwell. Law number 11 is the law of the inner circle. On Tuesday, we talked about real lessons in life and business around your inner circle, your inner circle's influences with others. Is your inner circle influencers of other people elsewhere? Do they have receipts, if you will? On Wednesday, we talked about how your inner circle complements you. Your strengths versus their weaknesses and vice versa. And how do you leverage that to benefit you? And today we're drilling down on your inner circle's strategic position in your organization. Christine, there are times when we built the MMC, I built the MMC knowing that I had never built a business by myself before. I'd never created. Glenn P. Brooks Jr. LLC, when it started 8 years ago, was my very first business. It's still the only business I've ever owned. So I'm not a serial entrepreneur. Don't get this part twisted. I'm not a person, quite frankly, I didn't want to be an entrepreneur because of the risks that go into that. That was just not how I was built. One of the things that I learned really quickly, I knew what I knew, but I also knew other people who knew what they knew. And what I did on purpose is I created a community of people of like-mindedness. We call them contributors, where they will come in and they will offer their expertise to our business community, thus allowing my business community to grow from something that I don't even know. And that's how I could, with integrity, bring people along for the ride. My question is, how is your inner circle influencing your organization? Anybody else on the stage want to clip it up and chime in? Come on, talk to me. Clip it up and let me know if I know y'all are moving around trying to get all the things going, but I'm telling y'all right now, this is something serious. Come on, John.
Right. So one of my inner circles, my MMC community, once I joined it, became an inner circle of safety for me. It has showed me how to scale. And because of that, I am leading a team of 8 to 10 people now. And the team, we were talking yesterday, I believe, on James and I, we were just talking, I think, and Barbara, that we were like, man, look where we came from, look where we are, where we're going. And people are starting to gravitate to what we're doing, and how we're doing it is because the business model looks very different than what it was 2.5 years ago when I came to the MMC. What do I mean by the business model looking different? The business isn't different with Kona Ice or KBCN, but how it looks and how it's being, the infrastructure is being put in to go beyond me and James is completely different. We were definitely solopreneurs trying to make it happen on KBCN, and then on the Kona side, it was definitely Stacey and I doing what we can and what we thought we need to do, which we knew hustle was part of it. But outside of hustle, building it, that's what we had to learn, or I had to learn how to build it outside of the hustle, so that the very thing I called to be a blessing to me, I won't turn around and then curse it, because it's now become my new employer, and then I'm back in the same position that I left because I felt oppressed on having my time freedom gone. And so if I didn't begin to learn how to scale it, or begin to learn how to make it work for me, then the very thing that I believe was a blessing, I would have cursed it, because I would have felt the same oppression. It would have just been my own hand on my own neck. I'm done speaking.
Oh, that's good, John. I get it. I get it. And this is why it's super, super important for you to recognize where you stand, not only in your organization, but who you're attracting to it. it makes sense. If there's anyone, I've been scouring the, I see you clipping it up, Christine. If there's anybody in the audience that's really dialed into this and you're in a position where you can raise your hand and come and share with us, your perspective on this. I'm looking at you, Dr. Nicole, and I don't mean to call you out, but I think about your journey, right? As a board certified pediatrician turned advocate for people who are struggling with navigating the healthcare system, your inner circle has got to be tight. I just I can only imagine like the people that you allow to speak into your life at that level, because where you're going, few have traveled. Physicians don't turn into entrepreneurs by and large. That is not how they think. There's a reason why they call them practitioners. They just want to practice the thing in front of them. That's all. They are. Let other people worry about that. So if you're in a position where you can come up, Dr. Nicole, raise your hand. I'm not going to, I've already called you out to some degree, but I'm not going to pull you up on stage. But I got to get some other insight, because I know there are so many people varying different places of where you've been that can add light and insight to our community today. I'm going to give you a second, Dr. Nicole. Christine, you want to go ahead and hit it real quick?
I actually had a question similar to what you were asking Dr. Nicole, but from the perspective of if you are that solopreneur. Look at our audience, and I think about Alexis and who was the other one? Annie Lane, who are kind of doing their thing. They may or may not have a team, but for those that don't have an inner circle, and they maybe not even have considered that inner circle, what does that look like for you to go from being by yourself and then attracting people to your inner circle or creating one? Because it doesn't just happen. But I would love to hear Dr. Nicole's perspective on that as well.
I love it. Come on, Dr. Nicole. She teed you up beautifully. I'm so glad that you're available today. Miss you, lady. Come on, talk to us.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for inviting me up. It's great to hear you all. Yeah, as you said, Glenn, and I've been doing some reels and kind of posting about this idea of physicians being entrepreneurs, because the road to get here is so incredibly long. There's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. There's a lot of time you give up, literally your early adult life, not to mention the money. And so many kind of look at you like you're crazy if you do all of that hard work and then decide to pivot and do something else. And in terms of the inner circle, I can say that speaking specifically as a physician, and I'm sure this is true for other industries, the training itself and the culture, while you would think that healthcare is a team sport, and it should be, the culture honestly really breeds a sense of individuality and competitiveness. And so I had to unlearn a lot of things during my entrepreneurial journey in order to really allow people to enter my inner circle. I had been, largely accustomed to kind of doing things on my own. And when I first started my business, the reality is there really weren't that many other doctors doing what I was doing. There were other doctors starting businesses, but they weren't doing what I was doing. And there was a part of me that wanted to hold close to my heart my ideas, out of like fear and somebody's going to quote unquote steal it, or and so I'll be honest, I struggled with really just staying in my own little silo and over researching and over analyzing and not really leveraging the wisdom and the support. And then it really was just in the last, I'm going to say, a couple of years for me that I truly started opening up and really cultivating that inner circle. And I'll also say that circle has changed for me. There's some people that were in that inner circle 3 or 4 years ago that are no longer in that inner circle. And I know you all have been talking about that as well. But like right now, the people that are in my ear, I mean, I'm truly blessed. I'm truly blessed at the way that they pour into me, and it's mutual. They pour into me, I pour into them. We bring our unique experiences on this whole entrepreneurial journey, and they affirm, some of the things, some of my crazy thoughts, and really just kind of continue to show me the possibilities. So I've really been enjoying the conversation this week, well, every week, but particularly this week, because like I said, it's only recently that I have really cultivated an inner circle as it relates to my business. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak.
Dr. Nicole, while you're still here, I'm going to ask you one quick question and kind of specific to what Christine said. And this is so good. I know you in real life, and I know that your struggle is real. And part of it is because of how analytically you think. A lot of this has to do with your temperament. If you could lay out a few steps, maybe one major thing that you did looking back on it, you're saying, I'm glad I did this, that started aiding you to come outside of that way of thinking so that you could see the need to actually invite somebody to be a part of that amazing inner circle that you have today?
The first thing I did is to really put myself in communities where there were people that could be part of that inner circle. So being in this clubhouse room and going to your conference and joining physician entrepreneur Facebook groups and other entrepreneur communities. So really just like putting myself in a position where I'm even going to be able to meet and be in community with others. And then the second thing was asking for help, which, you know, I'm good at it now, but it was really, really hard. But one of the people that is in my, I mean, innermost circle as when it comes to business and advising me and you know, she's my biz bestie. But that relationship started a couple of years ago when I asked for help in one of those Facebook groups. I was thinking about doing something new and I was really confused about how to go about it, and I asked for advice. And you know, a lot of people weighed in, but she was like, let's hop on a call. Like she, you know, basically messaged me and was like, sis, I got you, I've done something like this before, let's hop on a call. And we were on the phone for like 2.5 hours and we talked every single day since then.
You know what's funny? And I want y'all, if you're in the audience and you resonate with what Dr. Nicole is saying, put me in the chat. Putting yourself in position where you can attract. I need y'all to sit with that thought for a second. That doesn't involve you saying anything. What it does involve you to do is to think, where are the people that I would love to attract to what it is that I'm doing, potentially, you know, inviting them in my world, and how do I become a part of their world? It was an act of your giving of your time, your space, being vulnerable, right? That I think allowed you to find that community. And once you got in that community, then you develop the courage to actually ask the question. I'm so grateful because I've watched that. Y'all, I can tell you that, you know, and I've said this before, our MAPS Relationship Academy, although it is a, you know, it's a business model in one sense that it's a subscription service, it started out as a need for Cherie and I to have community. And what has happened in 6 years is that there has been a level of people that have come through that community that has risen to the level of inner circle for Cherie and I. I never saw that coming. In other words, I never saw that I would attract people who later I would invite because of how they think. I would invite them to speak into my life personally. And it amazes me what you do. And all this involves, y'all, is positioning. You ain't got to do nothing, introverts. You ain't got to ask nobody nothing. You ain't got to beg. You ain't got to write no letters. You ain't got to pay nobody nothing. Position yourself. I liken it to dating. How you going to find somebody if you ain't outside? I'm going to sit right here until the Lord send me my Boaz. Listen, if you really knew the story, Ruth was outside. They be tripping me out, Christine. Tripping me out. Talking about they, you know, the Lord just gonna send me what I. You better get your butt outside and stop tripping. Come on, Christine. I'm sorry. I'm better get on a soapbox.
You got me over here cracking. Lord, send me my Boaz. No, but when I heard Dr. Nicole say that, she put herself in community in those places, it made me think as a turtle, that's safe. I can do that. It's like no harm, no foul. I'm just going to step into this community. I'm going to see who they are as I am. I am an observer. I observe all things, everybody. I read between the lines, all of that. I can do that. And I think about other people like me. I know I'm not the only one. I'm the only one saying something, but I know I'm not the only one where I can get into a place. Now, I do have to be like Dr. Nicole said in the chat, I do have to be vulnerable. I can't come in so guarded that I won't allow people to speak into me or to connect with me. But to walk into a community or into a room where there are other people who have different perspectives that I have that can possibly be in my inner circle or seed into my life or whatever the case may be, is a safe step, you know, if you're going to take that first step. It's such a safe step. So thank you, Dr. Nicole, for that perspective. You're my mic.
I love it. Anybody else in a position where they can chime in? Come on, Jennifer. That is so good.
Yes. Me and Christine are so much alike. The difference is we definitely have to see that proof, because no matter what, that we are, like Sean said this past weekend, we are risk adverse. And so we'll sit here like, show me your receipts. Okay, you're telling me to do this, but I'm looking at you and that doesn't feel safe to me, right? And so, number one, for us people, we have to trust them to be able to say, okay, I'm going to let my guard down and I'm in a vulnerable state. So it gets worse when you're vulnerable because you're really like, it's kind of like double dutch, like, but you never jump in the rope. So for us, it's definitely being calculated, even with risk. And I know those two words do not go together. But you have to come to us with the proof. We have to trust that what you're telling us is it has a chance to work. Now we understand we can mess it up, but okay, you've done this, just like Dr. Nicole said, somebody got on the phone with her and said, I've done this, let's get on a call. I will get on a call with you all day if you say, I've done this. My question is, how did it work? Okay, what did you do? Because now we want to know the steps. Well, what happens if? We got a lot of questions. Because it at the end of the day, it has to feel comfortable. Right? I know you're supposed to do things uncomfortably, but for me, when I do things without all of these things, I'm not operating in excellence. I'm fumbling. I'll go start talking to someone, even though I know my stuff, and I'll be like, So a lot of times, Dee talked about it. You have to know yourself before you step out there. You have to know who you are at your core, what will work for you and what will not work for you. I'm not saying you look at someone and say, oh, that's not going to work. No, what is going to work for you? So I'll give you an example and then I yield my mic. I know that I can go into nail salons and tell nail salons, listen, you guys need to be targeting people for their birthday because everybody wants to get their hair and nails done for their birthday. So what could you offer someone for their birthday to make sure that they come back for their birthday and throughout the year, because you're going to provide so much excellent service? I sat in front of there. I'm on the phone with a friend who has never done it. And then this person is like, look, Jen, I sit behind the desk and call them. And I'm sitting there like double dutching, like, I know my stuff. Why am I so afraid to go in here? So I said all that to say, I went back home and called this place instead. And that was more comfortable for me. Even though it didn't work, it wasn't even about that. It was about doing the action, stepping out of your comfort zone. So know who you are at your core so that you can take those strategies that people are giving you and implement them. I yield my mic.
Help me.
Listen, John, I see you. Come on.
Yeah, so I just wanted to make a comment about the double dutch analogy because I like it. But what we don't talk about on the double dutch analogy, you still may get hit by the rope getting in there. Yeah, I'm gonna let that breathe. You still may get hit by the rope when you get in there. Try it again. The fear is getting hit by the rope. That's why we don't want to jump in the double dutch instead of the single rope. Single rope has less effect that if I miss it, then I can get back in. But the double dutch is you got to get in between them things and then keep moving. You got to get in between the ropes and keep moving in double dutch. Single rope, you can catch your balance quicker. Double dutch, you got to get in moving. And so, though I love that analogy, I'm always thinking, all right, I might get hit on there, or because if you don't know the double dutch turner who can lift up that left end to get you in, you may have to be able to jump in without the assistance. I just wanted to drop that in.
Help me.
That's that calculated risk, that part.
There you go. Exactly. That
Yeah.
is if our posse still can get hit. And guess what? You might even get hit going in, but you in there. But if you don't get in there, you're going to have to ask the turners to restart that thing.
Jesus.
And you got to ask for help. You got to ask for help. This time they may say, okay, come on this end. And then you see the double dutch turn as I'm standing in my kitchen doing, you see the double dutch turn and they might lift up that left arm and like, this is your entry. Still got to take a risk because you still got to time them holding the rope up. The point is it's going to be calculated and you're going to have to do it. And you could get hit on the way in, and sometimes it's hard exiting on the way out.
But
what are you going to do?
But once you in there, John, it's so much fun, and it's so
Exactly
structured, and you can keep it going over and over and over again. Just like that.
Y'all in here preaching this morning. Listen.
And someone on LinkedIn said the rope stings. So to that point, Dr. Nicole said in the chat, yes, John, I should add that the thing I was advised to do didn't work. That's the sting, y'all. But I have gained so much from being in relationship with this friend, advisor, friend, business bestie. Lesson, don't give up. That means do it again on people. Don't expect perfection. Keep going. Be willing to learn and grow.
Listen.
All of that.
Y'all see how this works? So I want y'all to see the progression here. We started talking about inner circle. We started talking about the dynamics and characteristics. I threw something to the community. I scaled who was in the room. I saw that I have a person who I know them in real life, had a chance to chop it up with them on many occasions. I know their story. I know they can add value. It's total introvert. I'm a turner. If you want to know what I do, I turn jump ropes. That's what I do. I don't jump double dutch. I am let me help y'all out. There are people who turn that rope that is their thing. You don't want them to jump because they got a rhythm and a timing and they got a thing where they got, and I'm going to they can adjust that thing just a little bit. They can step back or step in. It changes the trajectory. That rope bends. I'm that person. I can get you hyped to even get in here. And then once you get here, I can slow the pace down to jump at your pace, or I can help speed it up because some of y'all like to move fast. And that's what I just did. And that's what the inner circle looks like. When you have people like that in your ear on a regular basis, you can't lose. It's 8 o'clock. It's time for Tech Thursday. This is hyped. I love it. John Schultz, I'm sick of you. Great morning, everybody. Grand Rising. It's 8 o'clock, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And y'all know what time it is. It's time for Tech Thursday. Every Thursday, right around this time, we come to you guys live, not only on Clubhouse, KBCN, all of the places where we're streaming live. And our goal is to help add value to your business from a tech perspective, helping you to understand tech so that it doesn't scare you half to death, and you can actually leverage it to grow and scale your business. Rocky, Social with Rocky, that is, she runs a social media marketing firm, and she is really brilliant in this area. And so we're always appreciative when Rock comes to the stage to give us some love. Come on, Rocky.
Good morning, everybody. All right, so good morning, family. And since we're talking about inner circles, I want to talk about something that is going to hopefully greatly increase the inner circle, or the bigger circle of the world of women in tech, specifically African American women in tech. So today I am putting on my teaching hat, and I want to teach you all about STEM education, science, technology, engineering, and math, some statistics, because African American women are we're in need of Black educators in tech. If that's okay, Coach. Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Come on with it.
All right. So first, I'm going to educate you guys on what the STEM program is. I'm going to leave you with this statistic, and that way I can give you perspective as to why I feel like this is so important. And I saw it for myself. Women in STEM. All right. So women in the workforce in general make up 47%. And moderators, I want to hear your thoughts on this. All right. So, and in the chat, I want to hear what you guys think about this as well. Women in the workforce represent 47%. 28% of them hold a science and engineering degree. Only 5% of them are of color. Only 2% of them are represented when it comes to the STEM and engineering development program in the United States. Love to hear what you guys think about that.
Well, I think that one of the things is that, obviously in a male dominated world, there has to be something that changes the narrative on why this is even attractive. Here's what I realized for women to even get into this space. The more people that get into this circle, the bigger the circle gets. And the more people that become, part of that. You said something the other day, Rocky, that at the school where you teach at, and particularly the STEM school, you are the only African-American female on a team of 15, or there are two of you guys on a team of 15 people that serve that community. That's because I think the circle isn't big enough. We got to cast a bigger net, and we got to encourage women that this might be a viable opportunity. And quite frankly, there's a value that they bring to the table that is very different than a perspective of a man. So yeah, that's my thoughts.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, Coach. Anybody else? What are your thoughts really quickly?
I'm just going to ditto what Coach said, that I think it's an unfortunate travesty that we aren't represented more. But I also think it's because of the campaign or who's been targeted. Unfortunately, white males have been targeted in that area more than Blacks, as well as especially more than women and African American women. So it really depends on the target, who is targeted, but more importantly, how are you educating your children in the early stages when they grow up, where we've been taught to be certain things when we grow up, and to think differently is very abnormal. So I'll yield there.
Yes, thank you for both of those. Very good, Christine. And I myself, as Coach said, I went into a STEM meeting. I am a STEM educator from middle school 6th through 8th grade. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about my history. Hopefully I don't talk too much today, but I'm gonna tell you a little bit about my history and why I decided to go into tech. I was sitting in as a STEM educator. We have conferences from kindergarten all the way up to 8th grade. Again, I represent 6th to 8th grade. As I sat in there were tons of women. There was one male. There is only two African-American women, myself and the 1st grade STEM teacher. The STEM program is relatively new here. A lot of you guys, if you're older, you think of it as technology class, and then it broadened out into STEM education, science, technology, engineering, and math. And now it is STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. They put in the creative arts side of it as well. So as I was looking around, I was like, okay, this isn't cool. We need a lot more people grateful because our people, our children need to see our faces as well represented. And that is super important, especially in the tech space. So I decided to do a little bit more digging into this. And what I found was powerful, not only in this aspect of this is a huge opportunity for us. And I'm telling you, because if you have children, I would love for you to start getting your children into the space, because the jobs that are offered on the back end will set them up for a future that they would never have to worry about, into the 6 and 7 figures as STEM educators, engineering jobs, etc. Ruby in the chat stated, yes, you can count on you can count us BIPOC women on one hand here, where she works in STEM or where I work in STEM. However, the more I use my voice, I have learned being a minority can be a superpower, and it absolutely is for us. So thank you for that. And thank you, Dr. Nicole, for your statement as well. All right, so let me educate you on what STEM is. A little history about me. I am a nerd. I was in tech school all the time. I'm my dad's little boy. I was always in the garage building stuff, breaking stuff, tearing stuff apart. I had a huge interest in circuit cards and breaking apart radios, etc. So I went into the military. In the military, I came in as a computer engineer, so a computer hardware technician. I built computers, broke them down, dealt with the hardware. I then got out the military for a brief time when I had my daughter, came back in. I was a 3-star general's IT technician, okay? So I built out the BlackBerry phone systems and connected them to the computer. I was a video teleconference communicator, and I also held huge conferences in this Flick auditorium where I was able to manage double projectors and slideshows and all the technology space when it came to their conferences. When I left there, I went to Okinawa, Japan, where I switched over. Our MOS got changed over to where I then became a night vision goggle repairer. So I fixed night vision goggles, any of the heat sensors, any of the weaponry that had to do with anything that was attached to it, the ACOGs, all of that kind of stuff that you could see and magnetize your targets. So I've always been in the tech space. That really is something that I enjoy. Now, I saw it as a job and a hobby until I spun around into logistics. And then the logistical side, I kind of stayed there for a little while. When I wanted to get hired for a job, I actually wanted to be a business and marketing teacher. However, they said there's an opportunity for a STEM educator. And I'm like, at first, just like everybody else, what is that? And she's like, oh, okay, it's kind of like technology. So I dove in and I learned a little bit about it myself. And then I'm like, oh, I've been doing this the whole time. I just didn't know that's what it was called. Okay. So STEM, again, science, technology, engineering, and math. The science part, here are some things they focus on. We talk about biology, the study of living organisms and how they interact with the environment. Chemistry, the study of composition, properties, and behaviors. And physics, the study of fundamental law and nature. In high school, the highest I've made it to was physics. That's the top of tier in high school. So I made it all the way up to physics. We also focus on technology. The technology piece focuses on computer sciences, the study of computer software, computation, information technology, how to manage and process information, and digital literacy, which is a study of how to use digital devices and applications effectively. And most importantly, what people hear most when it comes to the technology piece is coding. Coding is huge. The engineer piece, electrical engineering, the study of electrical systems and their components, mechanical engineering, the mechanics and their components and how they work, and civil engineering, the study of design and of construction of how buildings are made and infrastructures of buildings. We dive into how they're structured to where they don't fall over. For example, when we were Okinawa, Japan, we know that the buildings are built on what's called rollers. So if there's an earthquake, I was on the 4th floor and I wonder why we didn't die. It was because the building would move with the earthquake because they're built on what's called rollers, and how it's constructed, it cannot fall. Mathematics piece, we talk about algebra, the study of mathematical equations and operations. Calculus, the study of rates and change, and statistics. All right. So calculus, I made, matter of fact, all the way up in high school, I made it to trigonometry. Statistics, I took in college twice. If y'all been in statistics, you would completely understand. That's a whole nother thing. But we delve into that as well. All right. As far as the education piece of STEM, all right, we talk about content knowledge. All right. We are the subject matter expert when it comes to educating these kids about mathematical formulas, engineering concepts. We talk a lot about the engineer design process. That's the process of, hey, this is broke. How do we fix it? First, you have to identify the problem. Then you have to plan, and then you have to construct. It just goes all the way down the list. The list is a whole cycle of how they figure out a problem, into creating it, and then into testing it and improving it. building out things because it's very hands-on, and then we move on from there. But they have to have the content knowledge. Oftentimes when we teach, we give them a real world scenario. The most recent project I did with my kids was the Cool Puppy Challenge, where we learned about house insulation. We learned about fiberglass insulation, what will keep the house warm, what will keep the house cool. So we had them build out their own little dog house. I bought the little Amazon puppies. They had to insulate the box of the house with whatever they needed. A lot of them use cotton balls, recyclables, plastics, whatever they thought would help insulate the house. Then we put the house inside of a heat lamp for 30 minutes at a time to see if the puppy got hotter and cooler. Some of the puppies died instantly. The house went from 72 degrees to 95 degrees because they insulated it with cotton balls and a lot of hot stuff, and there wasn't a lot of space. And some students did really well. But then we went through the engineer process of testing and improving. They tested and improved, and their dog was safe the next time. So that's just an example. We also talk about skills and problem solving, communication and collaboration, and creativity. My students are put into engineering teams where they have to work together. There is someone that is a lead, but they have to work together. All minds think about how to fix this problem. And we also focus on attitudes, okay? Curiosity into learning science and technology, talking about the frustration of trying to figure out how to do something. Because oftentimes, like me, if the problem ain't solved the first time, I got an issue with it. But we talk through, this is a part of the process, and this is how it's supposed to work. You're supposed to break stuff so that you can fix it. And you're going to break it over and over and over again until you get it figured out to where you can design it. All right. So these programs are building the kids up. Not only are we a accumulation of all of the core subjects in school, we are also building them up mentally to be perfect for, not perfect, but better designed for the outside world, so they can go out into the outside world and have these jobs that are going to help them in their future, be engineers, so on and so forth. Okay. So the type of jobs that kids can get in STEM, or adults, even if you decide to take this path: science job, biologists, chemists, physicists, ecologists, medical scientists, geoscientists, environmental scientists, technology, software developer, web developer, data scientist, cybersecurity analyst, IT manager, systems analyst, user experience designer. Engineering jobs: aerospace engineer, civil engineer, electrical engineer, mechanical engineer, robotics engineer, chemical engineer, environmental engineer. Mathematics jobs: an actuary, financial analyst, mathematician, statistician. I still can't say that word, y'all. I'm sorry. Somebody that does statistics. Operations, research and analysis, and a cryptographer. Okay. These are all jobs that children, if starting in kindergarten all the way up through high school and maintain this program, these are jobs that they can get once they get out. The degree they can search for if they want to be in the STEM education department or even teach this is data science. They can get a bachelor's in data science, then get a bachelor's in computer science as well. Or if you are already out of college like me, well, I'm in my master's for entrepreneurial business. However, I can go back and get certifications in STEM in particular based around the subject matter that I want to pursue. Okay. So I wanted to give you guys some stats as well to follow through with this, and some direction as to where you can go if this is something that you're interested in, or even if you want to help contribute to this whole thing. All right. So once again, women represent 47% of the workforce. 28% hold science and engineering degrees. Only 5% of them are color. Okay. Only 2% of them represent the STEM community. 2% of them represent the STEM community. So if I'm in this community, I'm like 0.003 or something like that, right? There are thousands of unfilled STEM positions. By 2025, there will be a need for over 3 million jobs filled. There is a need of over 3 million jobs filled in this STEM environment by 2025. Job opportunity, okay? So although I know everybody wants to be an entrepreneur, and again, that was me, I want to be a full-time entrepreneur, there are jobs available that you really can enjoy that you will get paid good on, because these positions need to be filled, especially in the tech space, all right? The reason why there is less women in STEM, okay? Number one, microaggression. All right. So us being African American and greatly limited compared to our counterparts in the STEM community, we deal with a lot of mental health issues because of how we are treated. We are greatly underpaid. We do not have all of the resources. So in the STEM community itself, and I see this in my classrooms all the time, the things that we teach and educate on, we don't have the systems. Some of us have 3D printers. Some of us do not. Some of us have computers that code and programs that code. Some of us do not. We literally build out in my particular classes. I do work in downtown Newport News, Virginia. We literally use cardboard, paper, pens, pencils, whatever objects I can find in Target that is hands-on. We do it that way. We don't have electrical equipment and stuff like that. And that's a huge thing in the STEM community as well, is the funding for it in the schools to where they really can dive in and do the things that they need to do. The other thing is a lack of representation. Like Coach said earlier, not a lot of people are talking about this enough, that, hey, we need African American women in STEM to stand up and represent. I have some great connections that I've talked to. I've met on Clubhouse as well as other places where there are women in STEM, and they go out all the time and go to these conferences and talk about the importance of this to push this out. The career field and assistants, they really don't talk about this in college that much unless the children decide to do that. And that's something that we talked about as well in our STEM meeting with the teachers, is we really need to hone in on, hey, you guys, we have a STEM program. Even though it's an extracurricular, this is going to set them up for the future. They don't talk about it enough. They act like it's an elective, but little do they know, if we take this little kindergartner and keep them in the STEM program all the way through high school to college, by the time they leave there, they will be a 6- and 7-figure earner at the age of probably 21 through 24. 21 through 24. Okay. So that's super important for us to try to really dive on that. All right. Again, the underpayment, underrepresentation. All right. So I'm going to give you some famous people to end off and close up. Some famous people that are in STEM that are a great encouragement. And you will be like, wow, because guess what? They don't talk about this. There's very few colleges that have African-American history. When I went to Hampton University, I was very surprised that they had African-American history, even though it was a HBCU, because they don't talk about this. And oftentimes they talk about what they want to talk about in the schools, and you learn more on your own on the back end, which is very sad. All right. Dr. Gladys West, she was the one that developed the math to help in the GPS system. So the map sources and figuring out how to get where you're going to get, she helped develop the math portion of that. Dr. Kizzmekia Corbett, she was at the forefront of the COVID vaccine. So she was a huge part of developing the COVID vaccine. Katherine Johnson, she did NASA calculations, and she helped in 1969 the landing on the moon. She's African. All these are African-American women. There's also Mary Jackson, who was a part of NASA as well, that contributed to some of the landings. Let me see, because I have a little bit more stats I want you guys to, let me see. I'm sorry. I had pulled it up. But ultimately look it up as well, you guys, because there are women that I got surprised about. There's actually a few movies about women in STEM that you would be surprised about who developed and why they developed it. Mary Jackson, I'm gonna hone in on her. Really, really go look up her story. Very dynamic woman, and she was the one that actually got me interested, because I was really huge in NASA. NASA's right here down the road from us. One of the areas in NASA's down the road from us as well. Really quickly, some more statistics. The National Center of Education said that in STEM, the STEM degrees that are attained, Asian women, 5%, Latinas, 3.8%, Black women, 2.9%. Only 0.8% of the 2.9% actually work in their STEM degrees. So after a while, they kind of toss it to the side and don't do it either because of the same things I represented before. All right, really quickly. Dorothy Brown was the first African-American surgeon. Rebecca Lee Crumpler was the first African-American woman to be a physician. Dr. Mary Daly was the first African-American woman to earn a PhD in chemistry, and she also earned a doctorate for life research and education and teaching and working as a biochemist. Dr. Shirley Jackson, first African-American woman to graduate with a PhD in physics in the United States, and the first African-American women to graduate with a PhD from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. She received a National Medal of Science in 2015 during Barack Obama's presidency. So again, famous women of color in the STEM society. If you want to be involved in this STEM thing, there are a few things to help your kids. Girls Start is a K through 12 program for children interested in STEM. There's also Girls Who Code, and that helps girls learn technology and coding skills. There's also the National Girls Collaborative Project. It serves as a network of 36,000 people with different programs on how you can help girls achieve gender equality in the STEM careers. There's Women Who Code, who provides resources and holds events to create leadership opportunities for women in STEM. And Black Girls Code is also for African Americans, Latinos, and Native American women in the STEM education. There's also a huge conference that's held every year. It's called the Women of Color STEM Conference. Look that up as well if you want to participate. And there's many ways you can contribute to this. All right. So again, greatly underrepresented. So even if you are just opening your mouth and say, hey, you should enroll your kid into a STEM program, do it. All right. So that's all I have, Coach. And if you have any questions about STEM education, I am 1000% diving into this as another side of me, because I see how underrepresented we are. But if you want to reach out, you certainly can. And I have all the information as well. And I'll pass it back to you, Coach.
Listen, it's Tech Thursday. Rocky, the chat is lit. I'm just looking over on man, Jesus. Like, first of all, let me just say this, and I have to just be honest. I had no idea. So I'm sitting here just like, I can't move because I'm thinking, oh my God, I had no clue that all of these African-American women were so influential in the things that we're learning and that we're a part of today. So this is not just history, it is what's happening right now. Dr. Pam Fawcett said that with all that you are able to do, you could be so much more lucrative in positions in other professions. This stuff really is a foundation for you to do, like whoever you are, to do some freaking amazing things. Listen, it is a thing. No, I appreciate it, Rock. Absolutely. Shout out to all my educators in the room. If you're an educator, do me a favor, raise your hand. I don't care whether that is on a volunteer basis, if you get paid to do that. If you're a part of educating our students, I just want to love on you today. Absolutely, Dr. Nicole Rocky, that was fire. Thank you from this fellow Black woman in STEM. Listen, Rock, that was fire. Thank you so much for your ad. And we've been talking all week, y'all, about this idea of the dynamics and characteristics of your inner circle. I remember, Rocky, when my daughter was going through school, I recognized that she was super smart in areas I had no idea how to lead her because I hadn't done that thing. So as a parent, it is tough sometimes when you see your child excelling in an area that you are completely clueless about. This was one of those areas. But one of the things that I did, y'all, and I'm encouraging you parents, listen to me. It is not an excuse that you don't know. You need to get your children around people who do. And that's one of the things, and I'm grateful that in May, my daughter will get her doctorate if all things go well. But this had everything to do with us positioning her in a place where she could gain that kind of wisdom that didn't, quite frankly, come from us. So no, Rock, thanks so much. I appreciate it. Anybody got any questions? Excuse me. Had to clear my throat there. Anybody got any questions or any statements real quick while Rocky's in the building? I'm not sure what time you got to be in school this morning, Rock. But put them in the chat, raise your hand, and hopefully we get them posed. Any quick takeaways? Come on, Christine.
This was absolutely amazing. And I was just watching the chat just go absolutely crazy on LinkedIn, on Clubhouse. It was absolutely amazing. Something else that someone said in LinkedIn about Rocky said, you, Rocky, are a famous person in STEM, and you should always name yourself in that group of famous people in STEM. So kudos to you, Rocky, for knowing a thing, right? That's a whole thing. Black Girl Magic all day long.
Listen,
oh my God, I'm crying.
So here's what was freaking me out, though. Christine, here's what was crazy. I'm saying to myself, the things you learn about people on Clubhouse. Like I've been knowing Rocky for years now. I had no idea the depths. I knew you were nerdy, and techie. But that's something people say. But no, and I've heard some of this stuff, but Rocky, you took us all the way there, girl. I can
It's
see
the
why you show up
passion.
this way.
It's
Absolutely.
the passion. Like you want, so if you're trying to do whatever you're trying to do, and if you need somebody like a Rocky in your inner circle, so I can take a risk. So Rocky says, go do, somehow interweave STEM into my dance program. Actually, we do have a STEM program for our summer camp. But to interweave that into my dance program, oh yeah, I'm
Christine,
I'm
that's good.
trusting her because she knows a thing. That's the calculated risk I'm talking about, Coach.
And Christine, you can. There is STEM education. There are dance engineers for choreography, lighting, positioning of props, everything. That's a part of it too. So absolutely.
Listen,
Yes, ma'am.
Coach Ruby said, yeah, Coach, right. She out here fixing night vision goggles in Japan.
Help me.
Who does that? I didn't even know that was a job.
Oh yeah, it's a very well paid. It's a very boring job. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's why I left it. But, but
Yeah.
it is a job.
Rocky, no, this has been good. Very enlightening. Amy Cooper Walters said, I would have loved, with all caps, to see women who looked like me teaching my science classes. Thanks, Rocky. That's the other thing, Rock. And you talk about boring. I think it's incumbent upon us. Facts and figures are great. Statistics are great. Absolutely, you got to be able to prove a thing. But when you can make this exciting, I think that also has to be a part of the equation. A lot of these kids, think about it from this perspective. What are you competing with? When we were raising our kids, we realized the most we were competing with was BET and VH1. These jokers today, y'all competing with a whole lot of stuff that's got to keep you all the way on your toes. And I'm of this opinion, you may not have it, but somebody else does. Get them jokers in somewhere where they're going to get excited, pushed, and somebody's going to, really, really encourage them to keep growing. Rock, thank you so much. This was a great Tech Thursday.
You're
Great
welcome,
Tech
you guys, and reach out. I'm still learning on my way as well, just to be clear, because STEM is a new space for me. Technology isn't, but the STEM organization side is a new piece. So we can all learn, grow together. And Coach, I 1000% intend on building out a STEM program in our local area because there isn't one. So that's another thing.
Yeah,
Adding it to my list of things to do.
Yeah, and let me tell you something, and this is the thing that I want to encourage everybody, particularly when you're super gifted and you're talented and creative. As you drill down on identifying your one thing, and this is all of us, especially when you see that you're really passionate about a bunch of things. I want you to discipline yourself to be able to not only discover that one thing, but then ask yourself this question every single day. Write it down somewhere and put it somewhere where you can remind yourself, what is the one thing such by doing that will make everything easier or unnecessary? Let me give you a quick example on how, if I were Rocky, I could take this one thing and really go to town with this. So in the idea, and I'm taking all of what I know about her into consideration. If your one thing is passion about educating others, let's say that's your one thing. What does it look like for you to be able to create an environment where you can do all the things you do in that one space? So if Rocky created, which is highly possible, something that would start out as a program, that she goes into local churches and she creates a program where she's teaching and she's training and she's giving kids, it would be a program targeted to parents of kids who are showing an affection for math and science. These kids are already showing that they're good at this. Maybe they're small, they're young, but they're doing stuff and you're saying, wait a minute, this kid is really shining in this area. What would it look like for me to grab parents of those kinds of kids, put them in a room, and then begin to take them through a journey on how they could assist their children to become great in that space as they nurture them? Now, this program starts out free, but eventually what she's going to do is get people to pay her to be in person, to come to these workshops and she builds it. It could be a science fair component to it and all the things. It's one thing that she's creating. This program could be the basis of a STEM charter school, which she then owns. And now she, instead of being in the classroom, she's navigating her leadership to be able to attract other Black girls like her to be the first Black women-dominated charter school, not in the sense of a feminist way, but an identification way. I need other sisters. And of course you'd have male teachers there. But the point is that this thing is run with females, young girls in mind, because we got to stem the tide. We got to really create a different thing. Let me say this. I see that as something that people would pay to come to in person, and you could build, and this is where Rocky gets real techie, and she's really good at this. You could build this out to include people from around the world. People who are in rural areas and they may not have access to nothing but the internet. That's all I need is an internet and a phone, because you can join a Zoom room that way. My question to you is, parents, listen to me. If you were that parent, would you pay for such an opportunity to get your kids involved that later, quite frankly, could turn into some competition sponsored by NASA and all these different people where they're doing the robotics and all the things all around the globe, and it morphs into, put a 1 in the chat if you'd be interested in doing something like it. If you'd be interested in simply just bringing your child to something like that and getting them exposed. See, because when I had a little girl who wasn't my biological kid, she was 11 years old, and when I met her, she was freaking brilliant. And it intimidated me because now I have the charge of trying to parent her as a person that don't know what she knows. So I was the parent. I didn't know how to help her with her trig. I'm so sorry. But what I did know is how to help her navigate relationships. So you say you want to be a doctor? I know how to connect you as my daughter with doctors who are doing the things you want to do. And if I got to pay for dinner, or if I got to pay for lunch, or if I got to organize a sleepover or a get together, that's what I'm brilliant at. And it's not an accident that she has 2 masters and she's going to get a doctorate. Do y'all see how that happens? Because what I did do is I came outside of my comfort zone and I decided to, and we're talking about double Dutch. I told y'all, I'm not a double Dutch jumper. I'm a double Dutch rope turner. That's who I am. That is my one thing. Y'all see all those ones in the chat? And that's just y'all who had an opportunity to put a 1 because you're not driving, or you're not doing all the things. Y'all, let me say this. This Tech Thursday's got me all fired up, Rocky, because I'm telling you right now, y'all, I want you to start focusing on your one thing so that you can get busy building that, so that these people who come behind you can take advantage of it. Listen, just a fire day today, Rock. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, Coach. I was going to say, you in saying that, and I've said it, and it shows up in so many different ways. My one thing is impacting people. My one thing is impacting people. I don't care if it's in social media. I don't care if it's in teaching. I don't care if it's in tech. My passion goes behind building people up and expanding them more than where they're at in that moment.
That's a fact. I know you well enough to know. And this is why, and I'm going to just go here. I'll use Rocky as an example. This is why, quite frankly, it looks different in different spaces. And so when you see her wrapping cars, it can look off course, but what she's doing is she's attracting a certain kind of people. Can I tell you right now, that could be taught in a STEM class? Because what I know about that wrap is it had to be designed by somebody. There has to be a technology involved in it. But it sure is interesting. What happened if we have a rap contest, not as in rap as in singing, but a rap as in designing and creating a rap that represents you as a Black girl. And then we figure out a way to create a car dealership who's willing to let you shrink wrap their cars in order to be advertisement. They would pay for that. Don't play with me. This is what I do all day long. I told y'all, I don't jump rope, I turn them. And if y'all in this room and you're being inspired, you should go write this down. You should go implement this, Rock. You should go say, you know what? Let me map out for the next 5 years. This is the page I'm on. I'm not doing anything outside of this one thing until I master it and make it pop. I'm on something different, y'all. And I didn't take a cold shower today. I will when I get out of the pool this morning. I promise you that. And I ain't had no coffee. Get out of my face. But I'm drinking my water. Y'all, I'm on a thing. And I'm telling you right now, if you are in this room and you trying to ride, put me in the chat. Put me in the chat. Let's get it. Jesus.
And this is why they need to come to bootstrapping in October, coach, because your brain, I'm reading Dr. Nicole's chat, your brain is on some different level-ish, and it just is. And if you want to get that, that's where community gets you. That's why I'm here. Yeah, I say a couple of things that may sound cool or whatever, and I know my stuff, but that brain right there, I have access to that brain. I yield my mic. I'm excited too, coach.
That
and
is
it
funny.
came, and Christine, it came all in like 10 minutes. Like he just built out my whole business plan.
Right. Well, and then so Rock, go ahead and lock in that, and your community will wrap support around it. Here's the thing: when we see you wrapping your car, you tinkering, everything, it makes sense. You always been that. Now you're just in the place where you're beginning to narrow down and laser focus how to monetize it, so you can get to do what you want to do instead of what you got to do. Right now, you're still in the gotta do phase, which is fine. It's perfectly all right. But that charter school, that's a real thing. That's not hard to do. It's just a matter of laser focus on that. Then you can do your STEM charter school that will have mechanics, technology, textiles, and everything else. You just put that all under your charter school as program tracks for your students. I'm done.
And this is where, quite frankly, as you are getting your heart broken every day, you're in your car right now on your way to school. And what you know is you're going to have to play a game called How Do I Get Their Attention Amid the Problems that they're going through. You're going to have to duck flying objects flowing through the air. You're going to have arguable conversations with parents and teachers. You're going to have to spend, of the 45 minutes you get to spend with the kids, 20, 25, 30 minutes maybe getting them settled down. What would it look like for you to create a community where the opposite is true? These are being targeted specifically to people. And now we're not going to Target to make cardboard nothing. One of our sponsors is donating that crap. And I don't mean crap in the way of bad stuff. I want to say something else, but I'm trying to be really good today. Trying to stay off that cussing ministry. But I'm telling you right now, this is the way this looks like, y'all. And the reason why, to go back to fundamentally why we do not see more Black women in these fields, is because people don't think like I'm thinking right now. They're navigating a system that wasn't created for them. Now y'all about to get me talking. You're navigating a system that was not built with you in mind. So I'm going to suggest something. Screw that. Go build your own table. And that's why you're in that school system, Rock. You trying to figure out from the back end, oh, so this is how they build this table. Got it. So when I leave here, won't be doing this, won't be doing that. That's stupid. This doesn't make sense. But because of the bureaucracy and the construct of that industry, it ain't built with growth in mind. Period. That's why Dr. Nicole left the healthcare industry. It wasn't built for the kind of space she needed to show up in. So she had to go create her own space. Get out of my face. Get out of my face. That's the end of the room today. I ain't messing with y'all. Let's get it. I gotta lighten up the load. Y'all done got me heat. Y'all done got me heated. Rocky, do me a favor. Go be amazing today. Change your perspective when you get in that classroom and think, y'all here to show me how I can go out and build something different. So bring it. This you can get. Listen, every Thursday, we're here for Tech Thursday. Don't normally get this passionate, but y'all done lit my fire. I'm sitting up here saying, what in the world? Let's go. It's 8:40, 40 minutes after 8 o'clock. Did y'all have a good time today? Was this good for you? Nikki Howard said fire. Anytime that turtle says fire, we did something good today. Stephanie Gray, I see the hands. Come on.
Okay, Coach. So,
come on, John.
Like you said, go be amazing. Here's the thing. Now, after hearing this, this should be able to push her through the daily move. You only got 60 days left, Rock. 60. You got 60. In these 60 days, we need to see what that thing is so we know how to support it coming in the summer and the fall. And it might start out as a STEM summer camp. It might start out as a STEM summer camp for just that 1 month. And then I could show you how you can use the government to provide the food for the students for lunch. Because you're going to talk to your principal about doing the first STEM summer camp. And the parents will pay it $125, something like that, per student. We're going to show you how to do that. But that's what you're going to do. And the next year, when they want to re-sign you on your contract, you say, you know what? I'm going to sign my contract. But this is what I'm going to be doing. You got to leverage it or you leave them abandoned. Because you're going to have to show them. Because the education system wasn't built for us. It was built to control us so we could think a certain way so where they could do whatever they want over our minds after we get out of here to be people of working instead of laborers. STEM is going to release the laborers.
John be knowing stuff. I don't know if you remember, John. The principal already asked me to head up a STEM after school program. And at the time I told her no. So they already
You can
asked
change
me.
your mind.
Yeah.
You can change your mind, Rocky. Because it's
And
going
you
to benefit you.
go ahead. And you're going to
No.
say, you know what? At that further thinking, I met with my coach. You can say whatever to let her know you thought about it. I do have a plan, by the way. And this is how I want to do it. Kill him, Rocky. Kill him.
Listen, Rock, I'm telling you, the answer is yes, because you need a safe space to build, Rock. This may take a year or two. It may take 3 years for you to build this completely out so that you understand the ebbs and flows on somebody else's dime. Now you don't have the stress of making this work. And quite frankly, it gives you the courage to keep showing up because I'm not doing this on purpose. When I drove my school bus for 2 years, I knew for a fact that I was going to leverage this opportunity to something greater. It gave birth to my book, Managing Students Through Relationships, Not Rules. That book went on to sell thousands and thousands of copies, and it also put me on stages with transportation authorities all over the country. And it took me to places where they paid me handsomely to come in and train their trainers. To this day, I have an 8-year relationship with Gwinnett County Public Schools, and I'm coming back again in June to be able to train the trainers. They have 1,800 bus drivers in Gwinnett County alone. And they are hiring me at a king's ransom to come back and add value to their trainers. Why? Because I used them for 2 years to build out a plan to come back. That was not an accident. It was highly intentional. And so I don't even talk about those things because that is not a space that I want to do that anymore for anybody else other than this organization. And it's not now because of the money. I'm gonna be honest. The first 2 years, I needed that. I needed every dime of that kind of money. It made up my whole summer when I was trying to build this business. But today, I don't need the money. I need the relationship. And I go because those are people I used to actually work alongside with. You know how good it makes me feel to go back and support my old colleagues? Are you kidding me? It's like they paying me to come to a family reunion. It ain't no accident. We got the cookout song. Come on, Frankie. Hey, listen. No, Ashley Love, you right. You 100% correct. Amy, you correct. The power of community, the vision, and the support. This is what it's about. Y'all already know what time it is. You can't get to any place of significance by yourself. I need somebody to help me to tell people why that is. In 3, 2, 1, it's because we all need some what? Listen, y'all be good. We'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow's the corporate experience where we will turn up. We're going to play some music. We're going to act up. It's going to be a fun time. Cherie and I will be returning to our Sadie Day. Can't wait. Mr. Little Young is in charge last week. And we're going to have a good time. I hope y'all will come. Think Day Party, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, hosted by none other than John Schultz. Come on, John.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. It's already Friday. Rocky didn't kick this thing off. Let's go.
Hey, but 2 days in a week, Christine. Friday and what?
And Friday Eve.
Almost Friday.
Almost Friday.
Let's go. My educators understand that. I didn't know what it was to live for the weekend until I started driving a school bus. Are you kidding? Let's go. It's 8:45. The room will end when the music does. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for pulling up. Dr. Nicole, thank you so much for the rich conversation and your ad. Always a pleasure when you pull up. Shout out to Robert and James and Chris for being in the room today. Elaine, Sharon, I see you. Rosalind, I see you. Dr. Pam, great to have you in the room today. Jill, thanks for your ad. Tammy, I appreciate you. Yvonne, Chef Yvonne was in the building today. Maria, we're going to call her Lil John. That was in the room today. Good to see you. Good to see you, Maria. Coach Ruby, thanks for the ad. You being in the room and sharing has just really freshened up my perspective. Thanks so much for your give. Keitra, good to see you. Yolanda, Nona, thanks so much for adding value today. Stephanie, Amy, Zipporah, Valencia, Kathy, T, it's good to see you in the building. Nikki, Phil, Ashley, my sister from across the pond, and Mr. Hurlin. Thanks so much for being in the room. Ralph, Leslie, Philip, and Yo. This room will end in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Y'all be good, and we'll see you tomorrow.
And we're out.
Boy, that was different. Had a lot of energy.
That was really
All right, good, bad, ugly. Anybody? We can get out of here quick. I'm getting in this pool this morning.
good room. Good room.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good room.
I love it. Yeah, we missed having Barbara, and I forgot Cherie was in her
Yeah.
what do you call
Or
it?
hearing. Yeah, I
Her
texted her.
hearing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot all about that. I had to send her a message. I was like, oops, I forgot you was off today. She was like, no problem.
So,
But yeah, that
Coach, what
yes.
y'all don't know is I text Rocky and told her I want to partner with her because we have a STEM program at our studio for summer camp. So I'm going to partner with her because I already have the model that I do with Claudine, and it's solid.
Yes.
Yes. So I'm going to partner with her so she can be our STEM educator for our summer camp. And it's going to be a whole, yeah.
You know
Yes.
what's really
That'll
fun?
also give her a lot of confidence.
Yeah, I thought about that, but also, yep, get her reps in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now she get a chance to, without any pressure, be able to produce something that she can, she can sell, she can package up, and that she's confident about. And on the back end, I mean, obviously it benefits you. And, this may cause her to come up and stay for a couple of weeks or whatever, however long the program is. But, it's summertime, she could do that.
Yep.
She could do that.
Yeah. So she's blowing my
Crazy.
phone up. But yeah,
No,
I'm gonna see
let me know
what
how
that
it
looks
goes.
like. Yeah,
love
we're gonna work it out. Yep.
I love our community, y'all. I appreciate y'all. I know y'all got a
It
lot.
worked out anyway.
You said what? It's John here. Is that John?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna be worked out, ain't it?
Boy,
Hey,
you ain't got no
Doc.
choice now.
because we doing that with the KBC. We doing that with the KBCN now, setting up those models. So that's what God. That's what God was doing, Christine. It wasn't for us. It was for her. And every time she taps back in 400%, it should be validating that we for her. We're for her.
Absolutely.
We're for her and excited. And life is beating her up. You can hear it. That is a war zone she going in there. But maybe she can push through now. I'm ready to push through with her with that. I'll push with her.
Oh, man.
I'll push with her on this, y'all.
There's so many.
Jesus.
There's so many opportunities that would come her way as a result of that. It'd be
Coach, you just got the freaking whole business plan in 6 minutes and 48 seconds on this joker. In 6 minutes and 48 seconds, got the whole business plan. And then here we go with the application execution of it. And you're going to sit in their clock and use their school and all their equipment. You're going to use everything. And you're going to let them pay you that extra money for the after school program too.
That part.
And now you're doing the one thing so they say you don't have to do nothing else.
Listen.
What are you talking about?
Listen.
Use the school system, use it.
You there now? You might as well. They got it. Leverage it. And that's why I gave you that example.
They're gonna give you the grant money too.
That part. So now you did on it. That's why I tried to help these people understand. Listen, I'm not talking about what I done heard. I done did this.